You know, it's amazing how much information is out there about managing diabetes through diet.
Right.
It feels like every day there's a new study or a new expert with a different opinion, and it can be so overwhelming for people trying to make healthy choices.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what makes it even trickier is that diabetes isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly.
So having a personalized approach to dietary recommendations, that's what's really needed.
Yeah. And thankfully, it looks like technology might be stepping up to offer that kind of personalized path.
Oh, that's exciting.
We've got this super interesting research article here that caught our eye.
Okay.
It's all about a diabetes-focused food recommender system, or DFRS for short.
DFRS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catchy. Yeah, it really is. And the article itself is titled Diabetes-Focused Food Recommender System, DFRS, to Enabling Digital Health.
Okay.
And it goes deep into how this system uses things like machine learning and nutrition science to create these individual dietary plans.
Wow. It sounds like it could be a real game changer for people with diabetes.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're hoping to uncover in this deep dive today.
Great.
We wanted to sort of break down how DFRS works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What's the science behind it?
Yeah.
And most importantly, what evidence is there that it can actually make a difference in people's lives?
Excellent.
Because, you know, keeping up with all the latest health tech,
Yeah.
it could be a full-time job in itself.
It really can.
So we're here to do the heavy lifting for you, break it down in a clear and easy-to-understand way.
Sounds good.
So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Why is there even a need for a system like this in the first place?
Right.
What are the major challenges that people with diabetes face when it comes to managing their diet?
Well, I think one of the biggest hurdles is just the sheer volume of information out there.
Right.
It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
You've got advice coming from your doctor, your dietitian, websites, magazines, friends, family members.
Everybody has an opinion.
Everybody. And it can be so hard to sift through all that and figure out what actually applies to you and your specific situation.
And it's not just about the quantity of information, right?
No.
It's also the fact that general healthy eating guidelines don't always cut it for people with diabetes.
Right.
They need more personalized advice.
Absolutely.
Because even slight variations in food choices can have a big impact on their blood sugar levels.
Exactly. And that's something that can vary a lot from person to person.
Right.
So it's not just about eating more fruits and vegetables. It's about understanding how specific foods will affect you individually.
Yeah, and on top of all that, you've got the constant decision-making around meals.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what do I eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner? How much do I eat?
Right. And snacks.
Snacks, exactly.
Throughout the day.
And then there's the whole meal planning aspect.
Planning.
Trying to make sure you have healthy options available and that you're staying consistent with your diet.
Yeah, that takes a lot of effort.
It really does.
And
then there's another challenge that we can't ignore.
What's
misinformation.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
The internet is an incredible resource,
For sure.
but it's also a breeding ground for unreliable or even harmful dietary advice.
Absolutely.
And for people with diabetes who are already trying to navigate a complex landscape, this just adds another layer of difficulty.
So true.
So basically, we've got this perfect storm of information overload,
Right.
the need for really specific, personalized guidance,
Yeah.
and the constant threat of encountering inaccurate information.
It's a lot to deal with.
It really is.
So this DFRS system, it sounds like it has the potential to address these challenges head on.
Yeah, that's the hope.
So can you explain a bit more about what exactly it is?
So in a nutshell, DFRS is a digital health tool that's specifically designed to help people with diabetes make better food choices.
Great.
It uses advanced machine learning, which is essentially a way for computers to learn from massive amounts of data. And it combines that with the science of nutrition and all the latest digital technology
To provide
personalized dietary recommendations.
tailored to each individual.
That's right. It's not just generic advice, it's tailored to your specific needs. So how does it actually achieve that level of personalization?
Right.
What factors does it take into account?
Well, it really digs deep into your individual health profile.
All right.
So it considers things like your medical history, of course,
Makes sense.
but it also looks at your personal food preferences,
Really?
like what you like to eat, what you don't like to eat,
Interesting.
and even aspects of your lifestyle, like how active you are or what your daily routine looks like.
So it's trying to create a plan that you can actually stick with.
Exactly.
Because, let's be honest,
Yeah.
the best diet plan in the world is useless if you can't follow it.
So true.
So you mentioned machine learning playing a role in this personalization.
Yeah, that's the really cool part.
Can you break down what kind of computer learning is happening behind the scenes?
Okay, so one of the key techniques they're using is something called deep learning.
Deep learning.
Yeah, have you heard of neural networks?
Vaguely.
So basically, they're like these super complex computer programs
Okay.
that are modeled after the human brain.
Wow.
And they're really good at finding patterns in huge data sets.
Oh.
So like imagine sifting through mountains of information about food, nutrition, and people's health.
Right.
And the neural networks can spot these subtle connections that a human might miss.
That's incredible.
And that's how they can figure out what dietary recommendations are most likely to be effective for a particular individual.
So they're basically finding trends and making educated guesses based on those trends.
That's a good way to put it.
Are there any other learning methods that they're using?
Yeah, so another interesting one is called matrix factorization.
Matrix factorization.
Yeah, I know it sounds kind of intimidating,
Kinda.
but it's actually a really clever idea.
Okay.
So think about how Netflix recommends movies to you. They look at what other people with similar taste have watched,
Right.
and they use that information to suggest movies that you might also enjoy.
Got it.
Matrix factorization is kind of like that, but for food.
Okay.
So it looks at patterns in the food preferences and the nutritional needs of people with similar health profiles, and then uses that information to suggest foods that might be a good fit for you.
Okay, so it's learning from the collective wisdom of the crowd, in a sense.
Yeah, you could see that.
And then they also mentioned graph-based approaches,
Right, this is where it gets even more interesting.
like graph neural networks.
Yes, exactly.
GNNs.
GNNs, that's right.
So can you explain that a little bit more?
Okay, so imagine a giant web.
Like a spider web.
Kinda, yeah. But in this web, each node represents a different food or a nutrient or a dietary guideline.
Okay.
And all these nodes are connected based on their relationships to each other.
Can you give an example?
Sure, so let's take
Let's see,
broccoli.
broccoli.
So broccoli is connected to things like low carbohydrate,
Okay.
high fiber, right, source of vitamin K, and maybe also connected to dietary guidelines for blood sugar control.
Interesting.
So the GNN can look at all these connections and figure out which foods are most relevant for a specific person based on their needs and their goals.
So if the system knows you need more fiber and you're watching your carbs, it can recommend foods that fit those criteria.
That's right. Even if you haven't explicitly searched for those foods.
That's amazing.
So it's like having a personal nutritionist who can see the big picture and make these really smart connections.
That's a great analogy.
And then there's another technique they use called reinforcement learning,
Reinforcement learning.
which is all about learning from feedback.
Oh, interesting.
So imagine you're training a dog.
Oh,
If the dog does something good, you give it a treat.
right.
If it does something bad, you maybe say no or you ignore it.
Yeah.
And the dog learns over time what behaviors lead to rewards and what behaviors don't.
Okay.
Reinforcement learning is similar to that.
So the system learns from your feedback. If you consistently rate a recommended food poorly,
Right.
it'll learn that you don't like it,
Uh-huh.
and it'll adjust its future recommendations accordingly.
Exactly. So it's constantly learning and improving based on your interactions with it.
That's super cool.
So it's not just a static set of recommendations, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah, so it sounds like DFRS is using a pretty impressive array of tools.
It really is.
But all this learning needs fuel, right?
Yes.
What kind of data is used to train and power this system?
Data is the lifeblood of any machine learning system.
Right.
And for DFRS, they're using a combination of different data sources.
Okay.
So first off, there's comprehensive food composition data.
Okay, so that's basically...
It's like a giant database
Yeah.
with detailed nutritional information on thousands of different foods.
So like how many calories are in something, how much fat, how much protein,
All of that, yep.
and where does that data come from?
Well, sources like the USDA Food Data Central are really important.
That makes sense. The government keeps track of all that stuff.
Ex-
Okay, so that's one piece of the puzzle. What else?
Then you have de-identified patient health records.
De-identified.
Yeah, so that means any information that could identify a specific person has been removed.
Okay, so it's anonymous.
Anonymous, exactly, but it still includes really valuable information like medical history lab results and past dietary information.
So it's like looking at patterns in people who have similar health profiles.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. And what's the final piece of the data puzzle?
The final piece is user-centric data.
User-centric, so that's data that comes directly from the user.
Exactly. It's information about your dietary habits, your personal preferences,
Like what you like to eat?
what you like to eat, what you don't like to eat,
Yeah.
any specific restrictions you might have, and your health goals.
Okay, so it's getting a really well-rounded picture of the individual.
Right. It's combining the science of food with the individual's unique health profile and their personal preferences.
That's pretty cool.
And that's what allows DFRS to provide such personalized recommendations.
So how does all of this come together in the real world?
Right.
What does the actual process of developing a system like this look like?
Well, it's a multi-step process
Okay.
that starts with a thorough review of all the existing scientific literature on dietary management for diabetes.
So they're building on a solid foundation of knowledge.
Exactly.
They're not just starting from scratch.
No, they're looking at what's already known and what's worked in the past.
Okay.
And then once they have that foundation, they move on to data collection.
Right.
So they gather all that food data, the patient records, and the user preference information.
And the quality of that data is really important, right?
Absolutely. You can't get good insights without good data.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
Okay, so once they have all the data, what happens next?
Then comes the fun part.
The fun part.
Well, at least for us data nerds,
Okay.
it's model development.
Model development. So
What?
that's where they actually build the algorithms.
That's right. So they implement and train those machine learning algorithms we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
And this is where all those different approaches come into play, like deep learning, matrix factorization, graph, neural networks.
Right. And they're using all those together.
Yep. It's like a symphony of algorithms working together.
Cool.
And then after that comes something called hyperparameter optimization.
Hyperparameter optimization.
Yeah, another fancy term.
Okay, break it down for us.
So think of it like fine-tuning a musical instrument.
Okay.
You want to adjust the settings just right to get the perfect sound.
Yeah.
Hyperparameter optimization is kind of like that, but for the algorithm.
So they're tweaking the settings to get the best possible performance.
Exactly.
Oh.
And then once they've got the algorithms all tuned up,
Right.
they move on to performance measurement.
Performance measurement. So
Yeah.
that's where they see how well the system is actually working.
That's right. They test it out on real data,
Okay.
and they see how accurate the recommendations are.
And they also gather feedback from potential users.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a crucial part of the process. They want to make sure that the system is not just accurate,
Right.
but also user-friendly,
Yeah.
and that it meets the needs of the people who will be using it.
So they're getting feedback on things like how easy the system is to use, how helpful the recommendations are, and whether there are any areas that need improvement.
Yep.
And then finally, they use statistical analysis to validate the results.
Right. So they make sure that the improvements they're seeing are actually meaningful
Okay.
and not just due to chance.
So it's a really rigorous process.
It is. There's a lot of thought and care that goes into developing a system like this.
The research mentions some specific numbers regarding the data they used.
Yes.
Can you remind us of those?
Sure. So they had a data set of over 2,500 food items.
2,500.
Yeah, 2,540 to be exact.
Okay.
So that's a pretty comprehensive range of dietary options.
Okay.
And they also analyzed data from 1,000 patient records.
Wow.
So they had a lot of data to work with.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid sample size.
It is.
And they didn't just stop at developing the system. They also conducted a clinical trial to see how well it worked in the real world.
Right.
So can you tell us a bit more about that trial?
Okay, so they recruited 400 people with diabetes.
400 people.
Yep, and they randomly divided them into two groups.
Okay.
200 people in each group.
Right.
One group was the DFRS group.
Okay.
So they got personalized dietary recommendations from the system.
And the other group?
The other group was the control group,
Okay.
and they received standard dietary advice from their healthcare provider.
So the control group is kind of like the baseline.
Yeah, it's what they would normally get.
Okay.
And then the researchers tracked a bunch of different outcomes to see if there were any differences between the two groups.
Like their blood sugar levels?
Yes, specifically they looked at HbA1c levels,
HbA1c?
which is like a long-term measure of blood sugar control.
Okay.
They also looked at the frequency of high blood sugar episodes.
Hyperglycemia.
Hyperglycemia, that's right, and low blood sugar episodes.
Hypoglycemia.
Hypoglycemia, exactly.
Okay. And anything else?
Yeah, they also assessed the participants' quality of life.
So how did they feel overall?
Yeah, like how satisfied they were with their diet
Okay.
and how easy it was to manage their condition.
So what were the key findings from the trial?
The results were pretty impressive.
Okay.
So after they fine-tuned the algorithms,
Yeah.
The graph neural network specifically achieved an accuracy of 94%.
84%?
Yeah, which is really high.
It's amazing.
It means that the system was able to recommend foods that were actually relevant and appropriate for the individual most of the time.
Right.
And this accuracy translated into real clinical benefits.
Okay.
So the DFRS group had a significant reduction in their HbA1c levels.
Meaning their blood sugar control improved.
Exactly. And they also had fewer instances of both high and low blood sugar compared to the control group.
Wow. So it's not just about numbers on a screen. It's actually making a difference in people's day-to-day lives.
Right. And that's what's really exciting about this research.
And it sounds like the users were happy with the system, too.
Yes. The feedback from both the healthcare professionals and the patients was overwhelmingly positive.
Really?
They said the system was reliable, easy to use, and it fit well with their existing healthcare routines.
That's great.
And the patients also reported feeling more confident in their ability to manage their diet.
Oh, that's so important.
It's empowering.
Yeah.
And they also found it easier to stick to their recommended meal plans.
So it's not just about giving people information.
No.
It's about giving them the tools and the support they need to actually make changes.
Absolutely.
And did this study look at the longer-term impact of using DFRS?
They did, and this is a crucial finding.
Okay.
So the people who continued to use the system over time, they maintained better blood sugar control compared to those who stopped using it.
Okay.
So it suggests that DFRS can provide sustained support for managing diabetes.
That's really encouraging.
It is. It shows that it's not just a short-term fix.
Yeah.
It can actually help people make lasting changes to their diet and their health.
And for those who are interested in the more technical details,
Sure.
can you explain a bit about the metrics that were used to evaluate the algorithms?
Yeah. So they used a bunch of different metrics
Okay.
that are commonly used in machine learning to assess the performance of algorithms.
Like accuracy.
Accuracy, of course, that's a big one.
Right.
But they also looked at precision, which tells you how many of the recommendations were actually relevant.
Okay.
And recall, which measures how many of the truly relevant foods the system managed to suggest.
Got it.
And they combined those two metrics into something called the F1 score, which gives you a more balanced view of performance.
Okay.
And then they also used AUCROC, which is a way of measuring how well the system can distinguish between helpful and unhelpful recommendations.
So it's like a test of its ability to make good judgments.
Exactly.
Okay, so they really put these algorithms through the ringer.
They did. They wanted to make sure they were up to the task.
So all of this sounds incredibly promising.
It is.
But like with any new technology, there are always potential challenges and limitations to consider.
Right.
What did the researchers identify in that regard?
So one issue they mentioned is the cold start problem.
The cold start problem.
Yeah, so this is a common challenge with the recommender systems.
Okay.
And it basically means that when a new user joins the system and hasn't provided much data about their preferences yet,
Right.
it can be hard for the system to make accurate recommendations initially.
Because it doesn't really know anything about them yet.
Exactly. It's like trying to recommend music to someone who's never listened to any music before.
Right.
It's hard to know where to start.
Yeah. And they also mentioned the importance of scalability and interoperability.
Yes, so scalability is the system's ability to handle a large and growing number of users.
So it needs to be able to grow as more people start using it.
Exactly.
And interoperability.
Interoperability is about how well the system can integrate with existing healthcare systems.
Like electronic health records.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they actually referenced a paper by Kim et al. From 2021 that proposes using a microservices architecture.
Microservices architecture.
Yeah, it's a way of designing software systems that makes them more modular and flexible.
Okay.
And that could help with both scalability and interoperability.
So they're thinking ahead about how to make DFRS a practical and widely applicable solution.
Yes, they are.
And of course, we can't talk about digital health without addressing the issue of data security and privacy.
Absolutely. That's paramount, especially when we're dealing with sensitive health information.
Right.
So the researchers highlighted the importance of robust security measures.
Like encryption.
Encryption, yes, to protect the data in transit and at rest.
Okay.
And they also talked about access controls.
So making sure that only authorized personnel can access the data.
Right.
Okay.
And they mentioned anonymization techniques.
Which is like removing any identifying information from the data.
Exactly, so that even if someone did gain access to the data, they wouldn't be able to link it back to a specific individual.
That's really important for building trust and ensuring that people feel comfortable using the system.
Yeah.
And did they mention any limitations specific to the study itself?
Yes, so they acknowledged that while their sample size was pretty large,
Yeah, 400 people.
400 people exactly, it would be beneficial to have even larger studies
Okay.
involving more diverse populations
Mhm.
and over longer periods of
To
time.
really confirm the findings.
Yes, and to make sure that the system is effective for everyone.
And any other real-world challenges that they foresee?
Well, they mentioned the variability in food labeling standards.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Different countries have different rules about what information needs to be included on food labels,
Right.
and that can make it tricky for the system to have perfectly consistent data.
Yeah, because if the data is inconsistent, the recommendations might be off.
Exactly.
And they also highlighted the importance of cultural differences in dietary habits.
Yes, that's a really important consideration.
Because what's considered healthy in one culture might not be considered healthy in another.
Right.
And the system needs to be sensitive to those differences.
Absolutely.
So taking a step back for a moment,
Okay.
what does DFRS represent in the larger context of healthcare innovation?
Well, I think it's a really exciting example of the growing trend towards personalized medicine.
Personalized medicine?
Yeah, so it's the idea of tailoring medical treatments to the individual patient
Right.
based on their unique genetic makeup, their lifestyle, their preferences.
Okay.
And DFRS is doing that for dietary recommendations.
So it's not just about giving everyone the same advice.
No, it's about figuring out what works best for each person.
And it's also a great example of the power of digital health.
Absolutely.
Technology is playing an increasingly important role in healthcare.
And it has the potential to really transform the way we manage chronic conditions.
Like diabetes.
Diabetes, exactly.
So it's not just about improving diabetes management.
Yeah,
It's about creating a model for how we approach other health conditions as well.
right. It's about empowering individuals to take a more active role in their health.
And ultimately to achieve better outcomes.
Exactly.
And what's the vision for the future of DFRS?
Well, the researchers are hoping to integrate it with other aspects of diabetes management,
Okay.
like medication tracking and physical activity monitoring.
So we become even more comprehensive. It
Exactly.
would be like a one-stop shop for all your diabetes needs.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And they're also working on making the recommendations even more culturally sensitive
Right.
and addressing the needs of a wider range of patients.
Yep. So they want to make sure that DFRS is truly accessible and beneficial for everyone.
It sounds like a really exciting area of development.
It is. There's so much potential here.
So to wrap up our deep dive,
Okay.
what's the key takeaway message you'd want our listeners to remember about this diabetes-focused food recommender system?
Well, I think the main message is that DFRS shows a lot of promise as a tool for providing personalized dietary guidance to people with diabetes.
Okay.
The evidence suggests that it can lead to real improvements in blood sugar control,
Yeah.
reduce the risk of complications,
Right.
and improve the overall quality of life for people with diabetes.
So for you, the listener,
Yeah.
what's the potential benefit here?
Well, imagine a world where you don't have to wade through all that conflicting information about diabetes and diet.
Right.
Imagine having a system that can give you clear, personalized recommendations that are tailored to your specific needs and your preferences.
It would make managing your diabetes so much easier,
It really would. It would take a lot of the guesswork and the stress out of it.
and it would empower you to take control of your health.
Exactly.
It's a really exciting prospect.
It is.
And on that note, here's a final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
If personalized digital health tools like DFRS can demonstrate such promising results for diabetes care, how might this approach revolutionize the way we manage other chronic conditions?
Wow, that's a great question.
Could we see similar systems empowering individuals to take a more proactive role in their health journey
It's definitely possible.
across a wide spectrum of health challenges?
Yeah, I mean, think about heart disease
Right.
or cancer.
Or even mental health conditions.
And exactly, what if we had personalized tools that could help people manage these conditions more effectively?
It's an exciting future to imagine,
It really is.
where technology and healthcare are working together to improve people's lives.
I can't wait to see what the future holds.
I think it's going to be amazing.
Me too.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
It was a pleasure being here.